My name is Тэд Lukайлукай, and today we're going to cover drills from what we're titled Blade to Boxing. And what that amounts to is we're going to show the empty hand, the knife, and the boxing exercises, which all become one art for us. What we like to do is keep in mind two things we're working with, and two words I'm going to share with you from the dictionary. One is concept, a general idea or understanding, especially one derived from specific instances or occurrences. The other is principle, a fixed or predetermined policy or mode of action. Now these, as we go down the road, you'll see how these apply to these different techniques and drills that hopefully we can use as collies, knife disarms, and defenses. And I'll introduce my two colleagues as we get into the next segment here. All right, what we're going to cover first is what we call principles of movement. And again, the principle covering something that's very universal. I'm going to have my colleague here, Good Greg Allen from El Paso. How you doing, sir? And what we're going to do is show what the basic footwork that we contend with. We want to remember we want to keep things alive, especially with the blade that if someone has. So right now we'll have him put the blade in the back. So from a boxing standpoint, as far as the footwork is concerned, we're going to cover a couple of your basics. One of them is shuffling. Now, when you shuffle, we use the same footwork here. Now, once again, okay, he comes forward, boom. We just do the footwork here, boom. Okay, just like this. Now, if you guys have boxed before, you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so when that attack comes, I shuffle back a dash to get more footage, or as we call it, real estate upstairs. So therefore, now, when he jabs, boom. Okay, we're going to add in a side step to that. Sidestepping, now we're going to move to either side. So it's your basic sidestep movement, so when it comes in, you're shuffling over this way. Once again, boom, shuffling over this way. Here again, we want to stay alive and on the toes when you're shifting. If we shift to the other side, it'll come to the other side here. Here, okay? All right, so now when he puts his knife in hand, okay, now obviously our fighting measure is going to be a little bit more extended. So here you want to stay out of the range of the blade, so when he thrusts, you're shuffling back with the same footwork. Or you're shuffling to the side, here, again, here. So everything, again, is still relative on the footwork and the shifting, but only now we will be contending with something that has a point and two edges. When we come back, we'll show the other types of footwork here, okay? Okay, covering the other type of footwork. Okay, now if I go to Greg, come out, sir. Okay. We're going to use the lean back, very common in the boxing. Okay, so we'll just go with the hand first. Okay, the lean back is when you just move the upper torso in this fashion. Okay, so all we do is we're going to stay from this position and just reach out, have him reach out and lean back just enough to evade the threat. So therefore, when he goes back in, you follow in, boom. Okay. Now, it's very common in the Filipino arts, and this system or method of movement is called elastico, okay, or elastico. Okay, so it's a rubber band style. You're doing this. So when you have sticks and knives in your hand, all you're doing is this motion here. Okay. So now when he switches and puts a knife in his hand, same thing again. You judge your range, just so you're back just enough. This is, of course, a last-minute kind of deal. You didn't have time, and it's coming in quickly. And if you got the room and the measure, then you would apply it as such. Okay? And now, the other foot evasion move, okay, is what we call, for now, we call it tummy tuck. Okay? Now, what this is, we're just going to shift back just slightly. Okay, this is also a knife technique. Like the lean back, if you're caught on a stationary position and you have just enough time to react, a while ago we moved the upper torso. Now we're going to move the center or the middle part of the torso. Okay? So in this case, we're going with the empty hand first. Let's in the boxing mode. It'll go slow. We tuck the stomach in like this. Okay? So once again, tuck it in like so. Okay? When he goes one way, he comes the other way again. We tuck the stomach in like so, like this. Now notice my footwork is more of a back stance position. Okay? Here again, we're last minute, and all we have is time to tuck that stomach in. Time just to tuck that stomach in to get it out of the way. So therefore, When the blade is now in position and that same move comes in, of course, first of all, we always want to make sure that we're in a proper measure. Now his hand is extended in the form of a knife. So for all purposes, you can be sure that you have the proper range. So if we go slow motion, you can see while I'm here, I'll just move the stomach and it's going to pass through. Okay, once again, here again, slow motion. If I stay here, I'll get cut. Okay, so once again, tuck the stomach in like such. Pass it on through. See? So if it comes in again, pass it on through. One more time, other side, pass it on through. Okay? So that's what we want to do, is in here, just bend. When he slices once more, in, and in here. Okay? All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, now to your next two basic moves. Okay? Go to Greg's. Okay. Okay. Now, these are, of course, some of the first that I teach in boxing. And the first one is slipping. Okay? And all slipping is, when the attack comes on the center line here, you either move to the inside or to the outside. Now, you just move the head slightly, and in this fashion, bang. You just slip in here. Okay? Just slip in here. And we just slightly move off center, just enough for this to pass through. Okay? So once again, he jabs, we slip. He jabs, we slip. Okay? Once again, here, just a side-to-side motion. Okay? Now, when he puts the knife in hand, same thing here. Now, be sure I measure it a little farther out, so I have to go step back a little bit, because I know that knife is a little longer now. So I'm out here and trying to, when he stabs, I'm just going to slip slightly, just like so. Just slip slightly, okay? Just in so like this. So on the outside, just so like this. Okay? Once again, we'll do it in slow-mo here. Boom. Because all he's doing is jabbing with a knife in hand, so it's pretty quick. So what we need to do is utilize the economy of motion and just get it out of the way, just so it doesn't hit its mark, which is you. Okay? The next thing will be the ducking. The ducking is this fashion where you're dropping down below like this, below the threat of the attack. Okay? So in this case here, from a boxing point of view, when he swings a hook, you're ducking over here. Okay? You're just ducking down. Boom. Okay? Once again, I'm just ducking down. All right? So we just take our posture and just drop it down. And you will normally, as they train, we want to come down and look at eye level. Of course, still going to be determined how high or how low the guy does his hook. Okay? But if it's aiming at my head, okay, I'll duck down towards stomach level. Okay? Now, if he has a knife, same thing. Ducking down underneath. Okay? If you have a knife too, obviously, your thrust will go in. Okay? Once again, ducking down. Okay? All right, so that's two, slipping and ducking. Empty hands and with the blade. Okay? Thank you, sir. Okay, moving right along here, we're going to cover some angles of attack, or common angles of attack. Now, the numbers that I use or references that I use are exactly that. They're just references. So whatever numbering system or reference that you use is basically up to you. I'm going to have my colleague right now go to Mike Keller from Fort Worth, Texas here. Okay, we're going to cover some of those, and now I'm going to have the blade in hand here. Again, this is a training blade. Okay, do not use a real blade for training. Okay, for the safety of both parties. Okay, now looking at the target here, some of your common angles. Okay, and the numbering system, we're going to use will look like this. Okay, a number one angle will come down this way, so diagonally across the body. Number two, diagonally across this way as well. Number three, horizontally across the midsection, the slicing there. Number four, horizontally across the body, a slashing again. Number five is a thrusting angle. Okay. Number six is a thrusting angle to the high line, sometimes to the eye or to the throat area. Okay. Number seven, we're going to switch across here, same target zone there, eye or throat area. Okay. Number eight, across, opposite from number five, thrusting to the midsection at an angle here. Okay. Number nine, we're going to slash up as such, right up the center vertically. Number 10, back down vertically. Okay. That'll cover some of your basic angles more than likely you'll meet in the confrontation. Hopefully not. But these are the angles that we want to work with and build our security or our defense system around that. Okay? Thank you, Mike. Sir. All right, now we're going to cover some areas in the blocks and parries, called basic blocks and parries. And if I have Mike again, sir. Okay. All right. So we got several different categories, and the first two that we're going to cover is the circular moves and the direct stops. Okay. Now we can use the basic angles to cover this, so you have an idea how this works. Okay. Like, all right. Now when he feeds, let's say a number 1 angle. Okay. Now usually at a long range, we use the circular moves, which comes over like this. Okay. Now usually, if you go to one hand deflection, it comes over in this angle here. Okay. Now notice we also always use some kind of evasion. Okay. All right. So coming over in a circular motion, catching or redirecting. Okay. If it comes from number 2 angle, okay, same thing here. Okay. I'll just give you a couple of pats there to kind of show where the angles are going. Again, we use the body angulation and a little shifting of the footwork to catch the angle. Okay. So again, that comes in a circular motion. Okay. Now when it comes to number 3 angle, same thing here again. You have the circular motion here, what we call a circular and a passing motion here. Okay. All right. So if it comes from that angle, okay, same thing here. Okay. It's all in a circular motion here. Okay. Notice I'm using the footwork and also the tummy tuck a little bit to get that blade out of the way. Likewise on this side again. Okay. Okay. And on your number 5s, the same thing. You can pass in this motion here. Okay. Okay. You can also pass on inside if you need be. Okay. I'll go slow that down a little bit more. The circular motion. And we're shifting again. Always utilizing footwork. Okay. So you exercise. Okay. When your feet 1 through 5, you can just pass. And 2. Okay. Pass. Okay. 3. Pass. 4. Pass. 5. Pass here. Or on the inside. Okay. Now the other one is a little bit more what we call it direct stops. Okay. And these, when he strikes, well, it gives me an angle 1. Okay. These we're going to stop directly. Okay. So it's like doing an outward block in a sense, where we're going to stop it either with the knife hand, we're going to stop with the palm, or we're going to stop it with the forearm. Okay. So when he feeds 1, see, you just stop here, boom. Or once again, okay. Some people use the forearm here. Okay. And then of course some use the pat, just direct stop, and then we'll move on from there. All right. So 2 angle, same thing. Use the knife hand to stop it, or the palm, or the forearm. And notice we use the outside of the forearm to protect the inside so it doesn't get cut, because that's your most vulnerable area here. Okay? And when you get down to the 3, always get down to the low line. In our case right now for training is 3 and 4 lines. Same thing here. Direct stop, you can use your knife hand. Okay? Direct stop, using the palm. Direct stop, using the forearm on the outside here. Okay? So number 4, needless to say, here again, we're going to use the same things. Okay? And palm here, and forearm here. Okay? And number 5, always the easiest line to deflect. Okay? And we can do the same thing here. Okay? Come down on it. Okay? But use the angulations. Okay? We can come down on it. But we use the evasion moves to get out of the way. Okay? We use palm. Use this fashion here. Use palm here. Okay? And I use knife hand. And on here again, same thing. Stop directly. Just on top here. Again, stop directly. But always taking the portion of your body out of the line of attack. All right? We'll get several more. When we come back, we'll show you the other types of blocks and parries. Thank you, sir. Okay, now what what we're going to do is show you, if could the mic come out, sir? Thank you. What we're going to show you is the pads. I'm going to highlight the pads a little bit more. Now, you kind of saw it in the when we did circling moves, and even some of it we did direct stops. But in the Filipino arts, there's, because of the blade, sometimes when you just pat, we just use the pat. It's mostly used to change direction of the flight of the attack. Okay, so when you give it a little pat, it redirects its course, basically, or on a deflection pattern. Okay, so for instance, we'll go slow motion first. Okay, we'll go from the one, or let's say from the one angle. Okay, when you saw us come over this way a while ago, we caught it on a circular motion and brought it down here. Okay, on this case now, we're going to come over and just pat the blade. Okay, so your slapping plays a big role. And notice how the blade will just give a deflection slightly. So I'm not hanging on to it, I'm not locking in at this time. Okay, it's just to deflect it and redirect its course. Okay, so when number 2 comes in, and we'll go slow on here, same thing here. So you'll come under here. Now instead of catching it, because we will eventually, we're just going to give it a little boost though. See? A little boost. Now we do this with the stick as well. Okay, we'll do the stick fighting or the stick portion, and just to give it a little pat. Okay, and then number 4, same thing here. I'm sorry, number 3. Okay, now instead of catching it and locking in, sometimes we're just giving it a little boost again. That kind of motion. Now what happens is, here again, it gives it that little deflection towards the inside. And that's where we want it, toward the inside, away from our belly. Okay, once again, number 3. Okay, that motion there. Number 4, like the number 2 one at the lower line, same thing here. We just give it a little pat to give it a kicker on its way. One more time, please. Okay. Good little kick on its way. Number 5, here again. Okay, another time when we want to catch the blade or the hand, okay, or the attack. In this case, we just want to pat it. Now, if you notice again, the point will just deflect enough. Okay, that's why we've exercised to work the patting hand. And on the inside, it's the same thing. Okay, we're going to shift and pat. Once again, we're going to shift and pat. Okay, so again, the sole purpose there is to redirect the travel of the threat, in this case, which is a knife. Okay, we're not going to stop it or grab it at this time. Okay, now, sometimes on a 3 or 4 line, we also have what do you call a low block, okay? So when he feeds a 3, we can use a stop that looks like this. Now, if you want to, we can switch over this way, okay? All right, it looks like this, okay? Sometimes people catch like this, okay? Now, what you're doing, we're turning the outside of the hand, okay? Then usually, you would follow up with something. But here, to show another way to do it, is to catch it like this, okay? So when the 3 comes in, now we use the energy line. This energy line is still the same. We use this hand here when we're doing this, okay? And the energy line here, the wing hand in the Filipino, kali or eskrima. In the Gong Fu, we call it the bongsao, low bongsao here, okay? The energy line's out here. But now we're going to change this one to the inside. Energy line is now on this plane here, okay? So you catch it here. Okay, and you can still run your attacks the same way, or your follow-ups, which at this time we won't do. Okay, and obviously on your 4 line, we'll come over and switch this way. Same thing again. We use the same blocks here. Okay, now we switch it over this way once again. So just different variations of things. Okay, and here again, you can follow up to however you're going to go. All right, so that's again, we're utilizing the energy lines from this portion to this portion. Okay, so we'll go 3 again. 3. Okay. 4. 3. 4. Okay. There again, just a couple more versions. We'll come back. There's several more we'll work with you on, and we'll take it on from there. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, now we're going to get into the position where you're getting a little bit more into a closer confrontation. Okay, and if I go to Mike again. Now, many of these blocks, which I neglected to bring out a point earlier, are more for logical mono or long-range type of parries. Okay? Assuming we have the distance, if he strikes the low line, we're out long range out here. Okay? Now, we're going to come in a little bit closer. Okay? So now we're going to come back with, we're going to work off number 3 and 4 angles for now. Okay? Now this one here, we're going to use what we call a forearm block, a cross forearm block. Okay? So coming at a 3 angle, we're a little tight now. Okay? So we don't have time to stop from here or catch from outside here. Okay? We're caught dead center in here. Now here, what we're going to do is shoot the forearm across in this fashion here. Okay? And then we're going to do passing over, or passing under, I should say. Okay? Now, if we switch over this way, okay, so number 3 comes, we're going to shoot across here. Now notice I use the energy line again. Okay, now you guys on to the different arts, we use the same energy line for several different things. So in this case here, we're going to drop and shoot this forearm out here. Okay? Then we're going to bring it down like so, and then pass it over. Okay? Now when he strikes 4, okay, we use the same thing here. Okay? Now always we shift away from the attack first. Then as we push down and shift again, then we check. Okay, so one more time from this line, from number 3 line, I'm sorry. Here, push down, and check. Notice I put the checking hand for now, because we don't want that blade to swing back. So now he withdraws and attacks number 4. Okay, cross, drop, shift, and check. Okay, so these are some of the common drills here. So again, your close quarter inside, and he slashes in number 3, and you even do it quickly. See, all you have is this. Boom, that's all you have. Okay, you don't have time to catch it, so you just drop it down. Okay, and they don't show you where. But that again is right off the boxing. So let's stay right here for now. Okay, now when you're a little closer, even. Okay, and now he shoots something like a short uppercut. Okay, only in this case it's going to be a short stab with a dagger. So we're going to use the arms again in this case. So if he shoots up here, okay, now one of them is, we're caught up here, we're going to shift again and tap it with the elbow here, in this fashion. Okay, if we look at it again, we're going to drop this right here. Okay, if we switch around the other way, okay, right in here. You're going to drop in here, shift, make the target small, and drop the elbow in here. So now it's not so much with the forearm, but all we got to do is turn, boom. That's all we have time for. Okay, once again, sir, okay, in here, that's all you have. Okay, it can be done from the inside, although not preferable, any of the inside defenses, but same thing here. Okay, once again, all you have is to drop the elbow to cover that, and then maybe you can pass. Okay, so again, this is a very close quarter. A little farther out, we get the wider range. A little farther out again, we get the wider range. Close range, all we have is in here. Close range, in here. Okay, so that's for your elbow and forearm deflections. Okay, now what we'll show you how we get into those positions is we'll do what we call the windmill. In college, it's called a windmill, and this is also present in many different systems. So each one has a name and different descriptions, but they all do the same thing. In the collie, we use what we call a windmill fashion or exercise, which goes something like this. Okay, we do all this stuff here. Okay, and it basically is to act like a fan. Okay, so therefore, if something comes in like a fan, it's bound to hit one of them blades, so to speak. Okay, so in collie, this is safety factors, constantly moving. So therefore, you also have the term catena di mano, which means chain of hands. You have systems or methods that use catena di mano, or call it catena di mano as far as the system, but it's evident in all the Filipino styles. There's a constant chain. Okay, later on we get to the sayaws or the dance exercises, but all this is to make your hands, they're constant moving, and hopefully when the attack comes, it's going to catch one of these. Okay, so for instance, when Mike gives a number 1, again, extends out there. Thank you, sir. Okay, the whole exercise is when we're doing this. Now, right now, I'm going to stand direct under the extension. This is a training drill. Okay, I'm going to stand directly. The whole idea here, though, is to get this movement going. Okay, and when he extends like a 5 line, same thing here. Okay, we'll do this exercise here. Now it looks like it's not really doing anything, but as we move down the road here, and I'll come back to number 1. Okay, when we move up, we're doing this here. Okay, but now the whole connotation here is this fan is going. Now somewhere along the line, now notice I can switch postures depending on where I want to go with this. Okay, somewhere along the line, I can take a deflection. The next one may take it to the outside. Okay, so my arm is at an angle, it's like a roof, and it slides off into a different angle, which is what we want. When we pop it, pang, then it slides off this way. And likewise, we'll do on the center again. If I choose to go to the inside, I'm going to take the first deflection, and the second one, bang, now it goes to the outside here. Okay, so this is the whole concept with the windmill, is to catch one of these and redirect it or catch it. Likewise, on the number 5 now, we'll show you a low line. Down here, I may choose to go to the inside. Pat, inside here. Okay, once again. So, inside. So deflects to the outside here. If I choose to go to the outside, I shift this way, and now the blade is going over this way. Okay, so the whole training thing is to go right down the center, then we practice the different footworks or a different way you're going to receive this, and go to our choosing for the workout. Okay, now sometimes some people would just lay the hand on top like this. Okay, what we're doing is we're hitting it on the side. Okay, some will hit it on top again like this. Some in the Philippines call tabong, to cover, which is also this, okay, to cover. Okay, but when are we going to deflect here? Deflect. So either of those would be fine. Okay, so that's your windmill portions. So on your outside, say, when you strike a number 2, say, your windmill motions, when you do this, okay, it's all these blocks here which you've seen before. Okay, all your circular motions. And we can do it in this fashion here. Okay, you pat here, see? Okay, it's all your circular motions in this way. So number 2 again, catch it off here. Number 1, horizontal, see? Catch it off here, okay? Number 2 again, we'll go slow motion. Here, okay? Number 1 again. Here. Okay, so it's almost like a double pat. Number 2 again. Circular motion. Number 1 again. So we're going slow. Okay? But the whole emphasis here is taking the attack, catching the circular motion, and that in a lot of actuality you're going to take it, deflect it, and or grab it some kind of way. Okay? The best form of block or parry, though, in this case, when the threat comes, is distance. Okay? If you can keep distance between you and your opponent or your assailant, okay? When I say distance, turn and run for the nearest source of help, whether it be a phone or an individual of some sort or whatever. Okay? So that's the bottom line of all the blocks and parries. We want to emphasize your distance, turn and go. A knife is so elusive that even the best, we like to say, donate blood sometimes. Okay? So we don't want to do that. Okay? Thank you, sir. Okay, here we will just highlight a little bit more on the footwork and evasion. Okay, now you hear those words mentioned quite often and when you're training with other environments, but when you're training with a weapon, I think all weapon arts, and whether it be Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, when it comes to weaponry, there is a lot of emphasis on the zoning, there is a lot of emphasis on changing your position, and therefore there's a lot of emphasis on footwork. Okay, so we're just going to cover some of the lines we did before, but we're going to emphasize a little bit more on the shifting. Okay, so if I have, go to my color again. Okay, so in this case here, we're just going to extend me at number 1. Okay, so the attack comes in here. Okay, a lot of people would catch it and stay in this position. Their footwork stays right here. Okay, but if it comes on hard and fast, you may get caught up in on the action. Okay, so what we want to emphasize is that when you're working the blocks here in the collie, we do a lot of moving. Okay, so in this case on the parry, what we call a parry, and then the check, we're going to shift more to the outside here, and then recover. Okay, let's see that one more time. We'll go slow motion, shift. Okay, there's a slight shuffle there, and then recover. Okay, all right, so on the 3 line, okay, just to give you an example again, we're going to do the same thing here. Instead of catching the attack and going here, passing, and then checking here, okay, the whole thing here is to shift again. We catch. Now notice as I push down, I'll take a step, then I'll check. Okay, so this way it puts me in a really safe position. Okay, so I'm going to zone out. I want to work my lateral movement. I want to use my triangle to get out of the line of attack as much as possible and still be able to repose or counter off of this. Okay, once again, off 3, catch, I'll push down, I'll shuffle, then catch it here. Okay, so here again, the 1 and 3 lines, we want to take our footwork and move it away from the attack. And when I come back, we'll show you the 2 and 4 lines on it. Okay. 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 Here now we're going to work on the 2 and 4 angle. Okay. Go to mics. The number 2 angle, same thing here again. You've seen the blocks with the parries. We just want to emphasize a little bit more evasion and footwork. So for number 2 angle, when he strikes, we're going to use the windmill on this action. We're going to use this. Then we're going to check here. Okay. So once again, so notice we want to shift to the safe position and then check. Okay, we'll do it in slow-mo again. 1, 2, and check. So you want to stay in the safety zone. Okay, our number 4 line will be the same. When the 4 comes, we're going to catch it first, then we're going to step as we push down here, and then check. Okay, that was in slow motion. Once again, catch, shift down, and check. Okay, so in motion, catch, boom, boom. Okay, so always we want to get to the safety zone, get away from the threat, get away from the guns, as they also like to say. Okay, thank you, sir.